welcome. I'm happy to have you here with me. This podcast is for English learners who want to practice their listening skills. And more specifically, this podcast is for English learners who still can't understand real, fast, authentic native speech. If you have trouble understanding regular podcasts, but you can already understand a lot of English, this podcast is perfect for you. This podcast is designed to help take you to the next level. So it will help you develop the skills and the vocabulary you need to eventually understand normal native speech. So in each episode, I talk about different topics and I don't read a script. So that's the key here. I'm not reading anything. I'm just speaking as the words come to my mind. So I'm using natural language, natural words, phrases, expressions, etc. But I'm speaking a little more slowly and a little more clearly than native speakers normally do. So this should help you understand me a little bit better, but you'll still learn new words and new phrases, and it will be good practice for you. Also, the transcript is available for each episode. So you can access that and read as you listen, and you can understand all the words or phrases that might be hard for you to understand when you just listen to me the first time without reading the transcript. So that should be helpful for you as well. So in this episode, we're going to talk about barbecues and fashion. Two random topics, but who cares? Let's talk about them. So remember to check out our website, polyglossa.com. If you want more listening practice, you can sign up for our $1 listening practice seminars there. And if you like this podcast, please share it with your family and friends. And if you can, rate this podcast and write a review for this podcast to help it grow and help more people find it so they can also practice their listening skills. All right, let's get started. Are your ears ready? You know what time it is. It's listening time. Okay, so first we're going to talk about barbecues. This is a great topic. I like this topic, and I'm sure many of you do too. So first of all, let's talk about the definition of the word barbecue. In English, barbecue can mean two things. It can refer to the event of having a barbecue. We can say, for example, come over on Saturday. We're having a barbecue in the backyard. In that context, the barbecue is the event, really. The event of having people over at your house and grilling meat and other things on the barbecue, on the grill. So that's one definition. The other definition of barbecue in English is the type of food. So we have a type of food that's called barbecue. So if you ask an American what their favorite type of food is, it's possible that they might say, my favorite type of food is barbecue, especially if they live in the South. So that's what a barbecue is. It's an event, or it could be a type of food. So first, let's talk about the event. So in the United States, barbecues are fairly common. People often have them in their backyards, and they often have them on certain holidays. For example, it's common to have barbecues on the 4th of July, our Independence Day, and it's common to have barbecues on certain minor holidays, such as Labor Day and Memorial Day, where we usually have a 3-day weekend to hang out with our family and friends. So on those occasions, it's common for Americans to have barbecues. And during each barbecue, we often grill different types of meat. For example, we might make hamburgers. That's probably the most common type of meat that we make during barbecues. And we might have hot dogs. We might have steak. When I was younger, I used to have bratwurst sausages at my barbecues. So we have a variety of different choices of meat that we might barbecue during those events. The word barbecue can also be used as a verb. You can say, we're going to barbecue some meat. It just means we're going to grill that meat. So we barbecue many types of meat, and like I said, it's usually in the backyard. If you don't know what a backyard is, this is the space behind the house, your own private property, where you might have grass or a patio or maybe even a swimming pool and other things like that. So in the US, all houses have backyards. So we have more space than houses in other countries usually. And because we have this space, it provides us the opportunity to have barbecues there. So it's a great tradition, I think. So in terms of barbecue as a type of food, when people talk about barbecue in the US, they're usually referring to Southern style barbecue. You might have seen this in movies or TV shows before, or maybe you've actually tried this. For example, the most emblematic type of food in terms of barbecue is ribs. I'm sure you've seen these or heard of these before. If not, look up a picture of them, type in RIBS, ribs, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is probably the most important food when it comes to barbecue, and it's very, very tasty. When I was growing up, I considered ribs to be my favorite type of food, actually. So I really like ribs because of the sauce, the barbecue sauce that people put on top of the ribs. So they're really tasty. I also really like things like macaroni and cheese and coleslaw and pulled pork. These are other food items that are related to the barbecue style of food, right? Like that Southern barbecue style. So if you ever have the chance, definitely go to a barbecue restaurant in the US and you'll find all these tasty foods. And especially if you're in the south of the US. If you're in the south, you're going to have the chance to eat amazing barbecue there. I've never been, but any American that has been will tell you just that. I hope I can try that someday too. And lastly, talking about barbecues around the world. Barbecues are an event that takes place in many countries. For example, in Mexico, barbecues are common, and people call them, a barbecue is called carne asada, for example. Or in Brazil, a barbecue is called churrasco, right? So each country has its own style of barbecue and maybe a different word to describe that event, but it's a common event in many different countries. In certain countries, like in Brazil, I know that barbecues are very, very popular. For example, I have many students from Brazil who tell me that they have a barbecue every week. Literally every Sunday, they get together with their family and their friends, and they have a barbecue, right? So it's very popular there. They have barbecues much more often than we do in the U.S. And I'm sure in other countries,